let's start the hour tonight in Tanzania, where President Samia Suluhu Hassan has called on the central bank to start working on facilitating the widespread use of cryptocurrencies in the East African nation. Now, while many Tanzanians have not yet embraced decentralized finance, the president said in a speech over the weekend that the central bank should be ready for these changes and should not be caught unprepared. Now, his speech came fresh off the back of El Salvador also announcing the formal adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender just last week. That announcement helped Bitcoin gain nearly 10% in barely 24 hours, cracking the $40,000 mark on Monday. Now, the token has also been buoyed on news that Tesla would resume its use of Bitcoin, but only when there's proof that the asset is obtained, or mined really, by using around 50% clean energy. Right, then let's dig a little deeper into the details of these developments in the last 24 hours. Haroun Kola is a Stacks community builder at Stacks Africa, joins us now live on the line from Johannesburg. So, Haroun, let's start with a broad picture here, because back in 2019, the Bank of Tanzania put out a formal notice banning the use of cryptocurrencies at the time. But despite that, based on the data you're seeing, has crypto mining and use risen or fallen in Tanzania?
Well, definitely the sale of cryptocurrency on off-exchange platforms like Local Bitcoins, which is a peer-to-peer buying and selling platform, has just increased in that time. And Africans are a typical use case of crypto, not just for speculative reasons, but for actual sending money and using it in day-to-day transactions. So normal, everyday working people in Africa, Tanzania, have been using Bitcoin by Local Bitcoins all this time, and it's growing.
Okay, so Tanzania, of course, is not one of the largest markets for cryptocurrency trading or mining, at least on the continent, but Bitcoin has gone over $40,600 today. Is there a case to be made that the market might be reading a bit too much in this change of policy from the president, because it really hasn't translated into an effective change in stance from the BOT yet?
No, and I think the technical reasons for the price going up or down is not necessarily limited to one piece of news. So even a succession of them, like the Tesla announcement, or even like El Salvador announcing it as legal tender, it has run up really quickly until 64,000 and falling down to 30,000. So if you look at that as a normal, healthy correction in a bull market, and I think with the news of a country actually adopting it as legal tender, it's been like news that us Bitcoin plebs have been wanting to hear for a decade now. And it could be that price is going on this euphoria of the market. But other than that, I think it's just healthy price discovery in an adopting market.
Indeed, we just have to get used to the volatility here. So one last question for you. So the president basically saying, look, the BOT should not be caught unprepared by, and she's asking for policy changes to be made here. But in real terms, from a crypto perspective, what sort of policy changes will that imply for the Bank of Tanzania? Because it's not like they're going to wake up tomorrow morning and say Bitcoin and Ethereum are legal tender overnight. So what policy changes in the interim can happen?
Well, it's interesting how you phrase that question. From a crypto perspective, what should the policy be? Crypto is purely decentralized, and its governance is not related to a central authority making the decisions. But however, they could take the lead of what El Salvador is doing. They're buying about $100 million worth of Bitcoin to keep as a reserve so that merchants can directly convert that Bitcoin they're receiving into US dollars. So they wouldn't have to do anything drastically policy-wise. They just need to keep like a stash of Bitcoin. They need to be hodlers of last resort. And now we are seeing that central banks are doing that. I think we're going to see like a domino of other central banks, especially third countries, allowing their central banks to own Bitcoin on balance sheet.
Well, that's going to be an interesting change if it does happen. We'll have to wait and see. Central banks over here tend to be very, very wary of cryptocurrency. Haroun Kola, thank you very much.